Hello people of YouTube and the internet. We all love Ben 10 and we also like SCP universe. So what will happen if we mix them together? A tons of opportunity and decide to take one of those. So today I will draw Ben 10 as 3 SCP races. So let's get to the drawing process, baby. Now I decided to draw 3 SCP aliens and I decided to go with my for now favorites. And that would be first one SCP-1788 and I will just call him the adults because it's way easier than the full number. Now, I think by the SCP lore and the way Omnitrix working, I think such transformation as this will be impossible for Ben because in the lore of SCP it's kinda said that the adults is kind of human, that their DNA is not different from the humans. Although they do have a different structure, but it's kinda mean that it's some form of mutation. Now for these drawings I decided to make Ben but a bit fatter, larger and something like that. Now I think the purpose of this transformation will be basically the combat. It's like forearm but the second option. Now let's come to his strength. I think pretty similar to forearm. At this point it will make question why the hell making this such aliens, because I want to. Now, usually I think that every transformation is kind of the band if he was that species, so I decided to make him something like that. Now, that's why he kind of look like Ben. Now, if you ask me what Ben it is, I would say maybe the reboot, I meant Omniverse, but I kind of also was inspired by 5 years later Ben, but I don't think it will be him, or nothing close to him. Now, for the beard, I suddenly decided to go with a beard because that way his face would be kinda a bit of flat, and I decided to make him a cool beard and a long lashes hair. Now, let's come to this transformation. Basically a super strength and not that much weaknesses, since it's kinda very resistant. It's gonna make him way better than Forum, since he also was not immune to some things, although yeah. Now, for his personality, I think the minuses will be that it's kinda become kinda the idea that he's sometimes better than his enemies, so he can sometimes underestimate them, and sometimes lose the battle. Now, as I was saying earlier, I don't think that Omnitrix will be able to consider this as possible transformation, since it probably will see him SCP-8788 as some form of human mutation, so he won't be able to transform into that. But you may ask me, then what the hell you drawing it? Well, you know a lot. There's lots of people say that Ben can transform into alien from the movie, but it was considered by the writers that he cannot, but people still draw him because they want to experiment. They want to take the takes in this transformation and see what they can make. Like, they want Ben to be their favorite alien. And so I decided to make him like that. Although it's also said that Ben cannot transform into mutants from Marvel Universe, but yet some people consider that he should have this transformation. Now, for the bodysuit, I decided to give him something like a tank top, like a wrestling suit. Let's say like a wrestling suit. Now, for the legs, I didn't decide what she should be wearing. So, for the legs, I decided to make him bare feet. But to be fair, I will say I'm really proud of the way I draw his leg in this moment. Like the best leg I ever draw. I mean, yeah, very simple, but man, I'm still learning. How much learning? Practicing and other stuff. But I will also say that his leg kinda look like, remember Wally, the cartoon about robots? They were humans and his teeth kinda look like that. Now that was not intentional, I just thinking he kinda have a big body, so I decided to give him the big teeth. Fits. Now for the, I think that with his left legs, I kinda make it a bit too small, since, again, problem with my measuring and perspective. But I will make it big, and maybe it kinda turning a little bit in the wrong way, the fit. Now, something like that. Now, how he get this transformation, I will say just dimensional transformation. Like he traveled into different dimension, found that guy, Omnitrix scanned it accidentally, like he'd see as a different being, and then Ben can transform into that thing. Kinda something like that. Now, will I draw other characters which can transform like Ben 23, Gwen, and Mad Ben, Ultimate Form and something like that? I don't know. Maybe in the future, but actually planning maybe I wouldn't do it in the future. Okay, now I'll say some commentary about his name. His name is Big Ben, but spelled with A instead of E, because it's kinda humanoid, human-like transformation, and I decided to make it. Well, I want to give it a name Ben, since I want it to be Ben, but we already have Ben Wool, Ben Mummy, and Ben Frankenstein. Although they kinda change those names, but I would say there's something like that. Now, because I didn't want it to be the band themed name, so I decided to change the spelling to Ben. Well, instead there was also ideas to call him Big Ben, such like a building in the London, or Big Ben that creates us all, but I thought that he has no characteristic to be called that way. So, I mean, he probably can be called Big Ben, like in London, but forget about it. Big Ben! Not Ben, Ben. Can you see the difference? I hope you can. Now, for his personality, I think I already said that he will be kind of a jerk. Well, not the bad jerk, kinda overconfident. He will think of himself more than he usually can do. But the way, I don't know, like, if he was voiced acted by the actor, I have no idea what actor can voice him. Now, while I think about his voice, I think something maybe like a forearm, but a bit humanish and a bit rougher. Something like that. Now, the costume, I want to give him a belly, and the Omnitrix will be located on his belly. But I didn't want him to give this open belly, so he wearing those color scheme of white, which one he usually have. Now, I'm technically run out of things I could possibly say about Big Ben, and in Ben general. So I guess I will just say some of my thoughts. Now, I think I will continue this series where I draw Ben as different aliens, creatures, something like that, from a different series. Now, I am kinda planning to doing something with the pop, like maybe drawing him like a imps, like a hellhound, like a angels. Well, yeah, I think when can transform into angels since they kinda not that different from imps. Hold on a second. Adjusting my microphone. Now for the clothes I decided to go with typical Benton shim color shim. But I think I can make his green a bit brighter than he usually is. And technically I think I'll go with band with those bright colors since I don't know. Maybe I should try making darker, but in that way I start to thinking maybe it's way darker than it usually should be. So let's have two sides of this coin. Now, because in SCP animation I watched that was talking about this SCP, they say that usually they have really small eyes, so I decided to make his eye a bit smaller and give him those creepy smile, but in the end this smile come out a bit to be show off, so I decided to just make him show off his biceps. Now for the hair, I think I'm kinda decided to go with tons of details for the hair, like those lines, those spots inside the head, hair, you see those darker colors, they kinda a hairstyle. And to be fair, I kinda want to give him hair something like what Great Universe from Steven Universe have. But I think they come out a bit shorter than his. But I don't mind it. Torso sound. And now comes here the part which I dislike the most. While I think I draw his legs really awesome, for his arms, they are not so great. Now, for example, drawing I use my own arm, and since my arm is real life, I try to make a real life arm in the cartoonish style, because this is what I do. And I was trying to struggling to look what it will look perfect, the farm, the something like that, and that was not that great. Now for original idea, his arm's supposed to be connected and it will be create something like a squirrel skin. Then I thought they both should come up from a separate segment of the body. So in the end it's doing something like that. Now his top arms will be his like priority arms, he usually do lots of stuff with them, and then mostly his walking arms, while his two arms will function as second backups like in situation what is really necessary, so they close to his body. Now from the distance it could like look like his arms is not his arms, it will be something like his belly, or like if he should have open in space and you can see his belly part like his circle this, but no, this is just arms. Now in SCP, those adults and SCP-1788, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, they can't hide their arms, but I think the Omnitrix will create a perfect uniform for these creatures, and to be fair, if Omnitrix see that as a transformation, I don't think he will give them like a disguised costume. It will give them the suit which will suit their needs. Now, what SCP-1788, man, I said I would not call him that way, but in the end I'm trying to call him in this way. Maybe I'm trying to pay my respect for the SCP Foundation. Alright, what this SCP think about this band transformation? They actually kinda very aggressive about it, like they think it's discussing how he can be the adults and then transform into youngs again. But yeah, they actually hate Ben. They not his big fan. And mostly they disagree with his point of view, like Ben think he should help them, but they disagree and saying that he should like, well actually they think he should die because they see him as abomination. Yeah, you get the idea. Now when it's come to his arms, I kinda want to give him the biceps, but I also was thinking maybe I should draw the biceps like muscles, something like that, but for some debates I'm maybe thinking, can I really do it? Can I make it nice? I mean, I should probably give it a try, but I decided to not go for it. Maybe try it a bit later. Now, Ventrix symbol, in lots of these drawings he will be on top, but he also will be turning a little bit to the side because that's what I'm trying to do. Now, with the last drawing in this batch, I think I do something like that. Now, at this moment, I completely messed up the layers, and now my Omnitrix is fully messed up and mixed with other layers, which he not supposed to. But I just went to the group layer and lasso this thing to his rightful place. And I'm presenting you the BigBan. And you see the way it's spelled right. So, let's get to the next character, which one also my favorite, and which one was very unique to me. Now, the next SCP drawing is 163. I hope I'm saying it right, the Outcast. Now, this is very interesting alien since it's both have these unique alien features, because very unique, and they bring the idea of how the alien could look like, and this alien is kinda interesting since it's alien of space which technically could look very similar to the with very poor deformism between species members. Now, for the moment, in the fact that his alien nature doesn't allow him to live in our atmosphere, well, for long, it soon start to poisoning him. So I decided to give him this backup gadget, which will be his biosuit, which will him protect from our environment. Now, the original I kinda was drawing, and soon my drawing crashed, and I will have to start all over again. But in my first attempt, I was trying to give him the typical skull shape and typical look when this alien in animation I watched from Mr. Bob. Yeah, I watched those things. Actually, I'm apologizing. It's completely fine to watch them. Now, right now, I forget that his big eye is supposed to be on circularly like a donut around his skull, so I'm fixing this problem. But yeah, I'm saying he's wearing a biosuit, but in my first attempt he was just looking like typical him, so it would not create illusion that he is wearing something. So I decided to change his head shape and not draw those wrinkles on his forehead to show that he's wearing a biosuit. Now, his biosuit was not only protective gadget I was thinking about, I was also thinking about giving him something like a translator, which will be located on his neck if he have one. But in the end I thought, he doesn't talk, he communicates by moving his eyebrows and bumming his hands. So I decided to maybe give him something like a page on his head which will show his emotion. And then I thought, no, I would disagree with the idea. Ben in this form communicate by doing stuff with his hands, and so basically not a lot of people can understand him. Now for his line on his I switch on them down. I decided to give them little dots. Now I was erasing, accidentally erased the part I didn't want to erase, but I thought it looked not so bad. Now, for the name for this alien, I was kinda struggling since I didn't know how to call him. Like, he does have those unique features, but I was kind of struggling. For a couple times, I was going to give him a name like a hammer arm or something like that, with his arm which will form something like a hammer. But in it, I thought I didn't want know what to call him. But suddenly in my head, it hit something like a WTAlien. Like, the old Vata, and I decided to give the alien ending because it brings me so much confusion the way I could possibly name him. Like, with Big Bob and with Big Ben and the third transformation you will see in this video, it's come out to me really quickly. For him, it took me like, I have to finish the drawing to finally start thinking about the way I should name him. Now, for the arms, I decided to make his arms a bit darker because I want them to be visible and with his skin and it's kind of blend in. Now the alien in this SCP 163, I think that's right, he have something like a multiple arm and those arm function like way heavier. So I decided to show them something like a mullet. So he will use this alien for combat to smash his enemies and it also could carry some stuff. Now I think this alien pretty basics, like only fighting and something like that, not even that smart. Now, for this species, it's kind of very interesting since it brings the idea of alien species which look the same. Now, I kinda hate that, like, it will be something like what Omniverse and Ultimate, not Omniverse, the Ultimate and Alien Force did. And I really hate it, because, like, lots of aliens basically look the same way, and it's kinda annoying me. Like, in the classic series, they kind of also did it, but to be fair, they have more unique features. Like, I think the only time they did it with was this Hammerhead and Volcanus. Like, his species, they kind of look the same. But in Omniverse, they like amaze me. Like, I like the Omniverse they did the species. Every species is unique and amazing. Now, I kind of think that could be sometimes a lie, since there's lots of animal species on Earth which are really hard to tell apart. I mean, they can do that them to themselves, but they do it by the smell and other stuff. Like the way human could never be able to tell. Now, I think in animation I watched it was said that this alien species, well, the old art cows have a missing couple of limbs, so I trying to fix it, but I don't know what limbs he's missing. Now, in this animation, he also have something like a mouth on his bottom, but I think because he wearing a biosuit, it will be covered and not be visible. Although I don't think the way that he could use this mouth, I mean, he's technically useless. I mean, he can bite his enemies, but to be fair, Forearm can bite his enemies. Imagine Forearms who punches and then some block his fists, and then suddenly he start biting. It's gonna make me wonder if forearm bites are really strong or they just bite. Although it's a secret weapon you never see coming. So yeah, now I'm drawing his legs, and for his legs I was drawing those foots, which will be something like he wearing shoes, and that would also be part of his biosuit. Now, like I was saying, in this form, Ben cannot completely talk. He can move, but he is pretty slow, I guess, because imagine walking on so many legs. I mean, thank God he have those speed instincts, so it would be very easy for him. But imagine if he didn't have those. Like, that would so much trouble to figure the way this alien work. Now, not much use for these aliens. To be fair, it will be one of those aliens which one... If you accidentally transform into it, you have to go with it. Now, drawing some legs on the background and making them darker to show that they are on background, and at some moment I decided to remove the white belly because I just like it. Now, again, I completely ran out of things I could say, like I should probably make this video a bit shorter, but I'm already started watching it and I already put that at this time, and if I change something, it would completely not match my audio, although I could basically, no, I already touched it, so yeah. Sorry if I'm making you uncomfortable. Now for the eye, I decided to, well, in the animation, I will reference that animation a lot. You have something like a segment eye, like a spider eye. So I decided to create it with those lines of green, different colored green. But I think I maybe overdo it a little bit. Although, I don't mind the way it's look completely fine to me. So yeah, I'm already finished and well, thank God, I completely ran out of things I could possibly say. No, wait. At this moment, I realized that I forget to draw him the Omnitrix, and I decided to change the way his top arms or top leg look like, the legs which one he covered his arms with. Like I hate the way they look, so I decided to make completely new one and making them a separate layer to put them on top of them, fixing that problem. And also I will put the Omnitrix symbol. Now for Omnitrix symbol, I decided to put him on his forehead, since I didn't know any other place where I could possibly put it. Now again the arm will be completely covered by these legs, but he completely have them. Now arms, I think they will be pretty nice developed so he can use them, and they will not be just some useless body part. Although they will not they will be pretty simple and not that strong. That's what I was trying to say. And now I'm drawing the Omnitrix symbol, and with Omnitrix symbol I always trying to make it look nice because I don't want to mess it up because I will feel very embarrassing. And I think I can maybe make it a bit too slender, so maybe not the perfect symbol. And actually I use lots of layers I did before for colors, and sometimes I'm borrowing the images like on top layers to not making mistakes where images will be not the same as before. So this is my WTAlien BigBan 163 transformation. And to the next one, which one I thought was pretty interesting because it can do something which one will exactly will say it's weird. It's weird. SCP-1051. Interesting SCP, which one basically a living house. And you might say, but are you sure Ben will transform exactly into this house because this SCP doesn't exactly have a body, he's a transformer. Well, you know, lots of people draw fanarts of Ben transforming into transformers. Even the man, what's his name? That one of the artists. I will check his name real quick. Derek Wett. Draw Ben as Optimus. Well, not Optimus Prime, as Afterbot or Transformer or whatever the species called Afterbots. Oh wait, or maybe Afterbots are the race that fights. It's yeah, I'm not going deep into that. Now, lots of people, while they draw in that form, they usually give it as some form of transport that he can transform into. Now, I think by default they all just robots, large robots. But maybe Omnitrix kinda know what they're capable of and already given them the transformation that can go for, so I think that will be the case. Although this SCP real form will be just some mess, it will also transform into the house. Now while I was picking the house, well, the NCP looked like the Angered. Well, am I pronouncing it right? Angered. Angered. Well, the building. It's completely different buildings for the planes and something like that. But in my version I decided to make it like a home. And not just some home, I was kinda having the idea of making it the undertown home, like it's mimicking some fauna, well, houses from there. Now, in this information, I was kind of given the vibe of the living house, so I decided to give it a windows and making some flowers because I wanted it to look nice. I also want to give some curtains, but I forgot about that idea and didn't do it. Now for flowers I decided to go completely randomize them and add them some new colors, and I also will mirror them and put on the second building, and they will be exactly the copy of that. So maybe that was a bad idea because it will not be this random. Now I think the way this transformation will work, I think it will be a transformation good for camouflaging or stealth mission, because no one will suspect a home, although it kinda got a bent and color shim, color skin, all that. But I mean, if you criminal and you not suspect the house to be a Ben 10, maybe just the colors. I mean, you can know the Ben 10 can transform into aliens, and you never heard of this alien house, so you don't suspect a thing. Now, in this form, Ben pretty much immobile, so he cannot move. But he got some powers, like he can send transmission, and he basically talks like that through some transmissions. And when it comes to his voice, I think I kind of would say he would have the same voice he usually have, just with this sound effect. But I think it would make more sense if that will be some new voice actor. But I don't know. You know, they probably did casting for the guy who will voice the band. Now, I think the second choice they could have would be the guy who will voice this transformation with this radio sound effect. Now, they also will have the. Well, I think that's all. Well, he will also be the ability to eat the one who come inside of him, but he disliked this power, mostly because he disliked the way those criminal taste. So basically, we just chew them a little bit and then spit it out. And they tired. I mean, if you were just eaten by an alien and covered in saliva, would you decide to fight, continue? No, I think you won't. Now, this transformation also have this ability to reproduce without agenda. So I think it will be that Ben 10 can also reproduce in this form. But I think unlike Big Chill, this transformation can decide then to reproduce. And I think Ben would never decide to do it since he already have how many offspring I don't even remember. And then there will be Ken, but I mean he doesn't have Ken for now, but that's the possibility. Now, for the eyes, I kinda thought maybe one of the windows should work as an eye, but then I realized I want those function like a real window, like you can see right through them. So making them like an eye would make a lot of sense, and to be fair, SP doesn't actually have the eyes, he must have those sensory powers, so Ben can also sense when someone go into him, but I also decided to in the end add him some eyes, but I will tell about them in a bit later. Now, this square on which one I draw on this pole will be something like an end guard, and that would be something like his second mouth. Like he will have two mouths, one will be the small door, the second will be this angered. And also this rope which one go over the house, and some cosmetic I decided to give so it wasn't too empty. I also want to put some clothes on there, but after debate, I'll say lots of debates, but I know there's no debates, I decided to not do an extra work and adding some other details which one I would like. Now for the colors I decided to make the bottom black and adding some bending colors. Now I was thinking that the bottom will always be, or maybe I did the bottom white. I don't even remember. Now here's the Sanger door. It will work like where you park your car, although there's no technology in there, and he will not use it as a car. Like inside that thing, there's like a tank and something like that, full of saliva and all meaty. But the part with the windows and building is all concrete and maybe in some places of tissue. Yeah, I make the bottom black and adding some band colors. Like I was thinking that main color should be green and white, but more of green than less of white. But then in the end I thought it would look not so great, so I decided to mix it up a little bit. Like the houses will be green with little whites, and place for the car, I don't know how you call it exactly, will be green, a little green and more white. So yeah, as I was saying, in this transformation Ben can send signals, so basically he doesn't talk. He just sends transmission that will sound like his voice, like he can translate it. Now for personality I think it will be just simple Ben. And maybe more aggressive. Now here I'm drawing the satellites, and thanks to say this satellite he is able to communicate and receive other transmission. And for the band and symbol, well, Omnitrix symbol, I decided to put it inside of this antenna. Now I was trying to copy a layer so I didn't have to draw it, but then looking at the position I thought it would be better to draw a completely new Omnitrix with band to look in the right direction. I kind of was thinking about like Mechamorph, which one have Omnitrix instead of his eyes, or Nanomech. But no, I think it will be like Omnitrix in place of his mouth, something like that. Now, for the eyes, I decided to make them couple of cameras, which one will function as his eyes. So he basically have those sensory powers and he have those cameras eyes. There will be three of them, which one will be visible from the direction you see it, and there will be some on the back. But in total he will have, let's say, 5 eyes. And they all can spin in direction, they can have night vision or something like that. And basically there are also some blind spot which one he cannot see, but I cannot say exactly which one there will be. Now for this transformation it's actually very confusing to transform into it, since that he do it he can kinda grow in size and become super big, and for the stealth mission you kinda have to find the perfect position, make the way you look natural and something like that, so for that missions for using this alien is a real pain in the ass. Like you wanna good stealth, so you have to think about everything. And also in this transformation it's really hard to transform into different forms since you're kinda really huge and don't have arms. So yeah, so you have to wait for someone's help or wait until all my things stand out. Now, for the powers, I think he also will be able to receive transmission, so it also will be able to use this alien for translation or something like that, and other stuff. Maybe, like, let's say there's some signal that they cannot understand, then quick transform to this alien, translate it and transform back. Or maybe or maybe even Rook and Gwen could use that as a quick time shelter. So yeah. By the way, I forgot to tell the way I named this transformation, so you will like it. Maybe, I don't know. Now, for his name, I come up pretty quickly and to be fair, kinda random. Now, for his name, I was always going to do something with urban. Like, if you know the word meaning, you will understand it. But then suddenly the idea for that urban came up to me really quickly and I kinda was confused. Now, I remember the Japanese word name Otaku. And there's spoken as stereotypes about those people that they rarely go outside and see the light. But that is stereotype. I mean, yeah, there's some excuses, the differences, and other stuff. But forget about it. So this is a house, and in this form, Ben cannot move and basically stay in the same place for a certain time. Man, imagine how terrifying it is. Like, let's say Omnitic glitched, like in the classic series, and then Ben stuck as gray matter. It glitched and you transform into this house. And let's say that you got this transformation while you were adventuring, and no one know you can transform into that. And imagine you stuck and no one can find you, and this is the house. Like, people know that you can transform into aliens, but this is a building. Like, it's not even a living matter. So no one expect a thing and you're stuck like this for a certain number of time. Although he can send signals, so if he finds the rook, well, I mean, if we classic, let's say in the Omniverse he is stuck like this, he send a message to the rook, and then they have to transmission, then they have to find it, and then they have to fix the Omnitrix, and that for a certain number of time, and yeah, that's kind of terrifying. So yes, this is my challenge. Well, kind of I mean, I say it's a challenge. Like draw bandanas, different aliens. That's kind of a challenge. So what I can say, I kind of like the way I did it. Again, very simple but nice. And let's not make an intro any longer. So it was Cheap GP. Subscribe, like, comment, and I hope to see you soon. And have a nice day.